Welcome to this short video that describes a sympathetic restoration of a Cretors No. 2 popcorn engine. I won the engine on an online auction and got it for a very good price. Other than cleaning, painting, and mounting the engine on a baseboard, there wasn't a lot to do on the engine. The first popcorn machine was introduced in 1893 at the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago by Cretors and Company, who had adapted a peanut roaster to popcorn in oil. This drawing shows a later popcorn machine with the same steam engine I'm restoring. My engine serial number is 4107, which dates it to around 1907. The engine is at least 118 years old. This clip shows an initial test run of the engine on the bench. The engine ran very well, so I decided that a sympathetic restoration involving cleaning, painting, and mounting the engine on a baseboard is all that would be required to complete this project. The restoration started with making a baseboard. The baseboard is a piece of 3/4-inch plywood that was laminated with mahogany planks. After sanding the planks, I stained the baseboard and then finished it with wipe-on polyurethane varnish. I marked the position of the mounting holes for the engine's bed and drilled them. You have to be careful not to chew up the mahogany planks when drilling. I found center punching the position of the holes and taking things nice and slowly with the battery drill avoids damaging the mahogany laminate. Next, I screwed the engine bed to the baseboard with the original screws. I cleaned the heads of the screws on the polishing wheel before securing the engine bed with them. I had to make new inlet and exhaust fittings for the engine. The next series of clips show making the fittings on the lathe. The first task was to face the end of some hex brass bar. This speeded up clip shows the diameter of the brass bar being turned down to 0.540 inches, which is the outer diameter for a 1/4-inch NPT threads. Next, the end of the brass bar was center drilled. Again, this clip is speeded up. The brass bar was then drilled with a number 5 drill, which is tapping size for a 1/4-inch 40 threads per inch. The hole was drilled to a depth of 1/2 inch. This will be the final length of the fitting. I threaded the fitting with a 1/4-inch NPT thread. I used a die holder and the Jacob's chuck to keep it square, and turned the lathe chuck with the chuck key to cut the thread. Lastly, the fitting was tapped a 1/4 inch, 40 threads per inch. I held the fitting in the vise while tapping the threads, taking care to ensure the tap was square to the fitting. Here's a close-up shot of the inlet and exhaust fittings installed on the steam chest with associated piping. The inlet port, at the top of the steam chest, had a 1/8-inch NPT thread, while the exhaust port, at the bottom of the steam chest, was threaded a 1/4-inch NPT. Continuing with the rebuild, this shot shows the cylinder mounted on the steam chest. Prior to refitting parts, I cleaned them on the buffing wheel or with WD-40 and a cloth. Here's a shot of the engine showing the piston rod connected to the crank web via the crank pin. The shot also shows the bearing caps installed on the bearing pedestals. This completed the rebuild of the engine. Here's a clip of the finished engine running on air in the workshop. The engine runs very well at 5 psi air pressure. I recorded the video with a gimbal camera I recently purchased. The camera seems to be doing quite well. I have a lot to learn about it, but it feels like it will enhance videos I create for YouTube. So, that's the Cretors number 2 engine restoration completed. It's a very nice engine and a good add to my collection of stationary steam engines. I enjoyed restoring the engine and I think it came out well. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to support my channel. Thank you.